Hey guys, Ben here from the Fibreglass factory. Today I'm going to be talking to you about fitting a scoop using our outer flange scoop kit that we have for sale. But before we start, if you could do us a favour and hit the subscribe button. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up the scoop where it's got to go. And I covered this in other videos, but I'm going to do a quick cover on it now. So we just have to run some measurements. So I'm just measuring off points of the bonnet that are a defined point. Okay, so we're going to go 45 in. 45, do a mark. If you don't want to draw on your bonnet, which you probably don't want to, put a bit of masking tape down. And then you can still run marks onto the bonnet without putting marks on the paintwork. Okay. Oops. Now you can run measurements to parts of the scoop. So we've got 16 there. We've got 17 there. Okay, so that means that we've got to go over. I wouldn't measure off the edge of the flange just in case it's not perfect. I'd always measure off a part on the actual scoop, and then if the flange needs trimming up, then then that may be necessary. Okay. Okay, so we've got 16 and a half. 16 and a half. That's what we need. Okay, we'll do the same at the back, and it doesn't hurt to run extra measurements just to check to make sure there's not something funny. Now, I'd also be having a look at it and seeing if there's anything that I'm not happy with before we go fitting it to the vehicle. In case there's something that doesn't quite look right. You don't want to have fitted it and then figure out, okay, I've got to do modifications or whatever it is. You know, just a preventative. All right, so now, presuming we're ready to fit this thing to the vehicle, so we would work out where we're going to bolt it down with, and then we can use some self-tappers just to get it in place. Okay, act like a bit of a pilot hole. Now, you do want to consider that you may have a frame underneath that you have to contend with. So, I'd be inclined to make sure I'd have a look underneath the bonnet, work out where I should be putting my bolts, so that you're not trying to bolt to a place where you can't get to because you've got a frame there. All right, I'm not going to be flipping this over today, but you want to be making sure that everything's going to work properly. Okay, so just presume that I've measured this out so I know exactly where I'm going. Okay, so we've gone along and we've worked out where we're putting our bolts, we've marked it all out. Now we're drilling it. All right, so we've just done our self-tappers here, and I've pulled them out. I've kept a couple of screws in because I don't want this thing moving while we're drilling. Okay. Now, if your drill can go on low speed, it's going to be better, because anytime you're drilling into steel, low speed and high pressure is what we want. Now, what we can do is just make sure that you get the right drill bit to suit the bolt. These ones are a little bit sloppy. We could bolt these ones through, and then that'll hold the scoop while we do the other ones. When you're drilling through the fiberglass, I would recommend to not put much pressure on it until you've through the fiberglass, and then when it comes to the steel, you need to apply more pressure. But you really want to get a slower drill on this one. This one's too fast for this job. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. You're going to do the same thing on this side, on the other 3 sides, and then you'll have this nice looking scoop attached to the bonnet with the bolt heads showing. Thanks very much for watching. I hope that's helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe.